What's happening in the canine industry? For all the latest news, views, and expert opinions, stay right here for the Canine Paradigm. You'll hear from industry leaders, experts, doyens of the industry, learned colleagues, movers and shakers, and the odd randy guest. Get the latest insights and expert advice from both here and abroad from the people in the know. Now, here are your hosts, Glenn Cook and Pat Stewart. And I'm Lofty Fulton, and I'm out of here.
Hey, Glenn, I reckon it's time for a new ad.
Do you reckon? We just went 14 months with the old one.
We don't even have sponsors anymore, so it probably was a good thing to take it down.
I think they just got so sick of it.
Yeah. So we've decided to no longer take sponsors on the show. The main reason being it comes with a level of admin that we're just not prepared to do.
Yes.
And we want to bring you good dog training information. So there's really only two things that we're interested in telling you about before you come into the show. First one being Canine Paradigm. Glenn, hit us with the details.
Thousands of customers, mainly in Australia and in the USA. We'd love to get in other places around the world, which I think will be on the list. We've got 5-star reviews to the galore. We've had skeptics, people who just don't believe products such as Canine Paradigm can do anything for their dogs. They've tried it. They've come back and they've said it works. It's made a massive change, or it's made a mild change, or it's made a change. That was one of the things Narelle was always working towards. She makes sure she does the science. She likes to peer review everything she's trying to do as much as possible. These things aren't just done by chance. She has done a lot of work, a lot of prep getting it to where it is. Extremely proud of her for all the effort that she's put behind it. Not just because she's my wife, not just because it's our business or her business, but because it works and it's done what it says it's going to do, and it's at such a great level as well. So if you're looking for something to improve the health and well-being of your dogs, you can't go past Canine Paradigm. Check it out online, caninesurgicals.com.au.
I love it. I, this year, am changing the way that I teach. I am an educator. It's what I love to do, and I've been trying to find the best way to do that. And in 2026, I'm launching a subscription service. In the past, people have had to buy my courses. You own them outright or you own them for a period. And that has been great, except that it does cut some people out because of the high price point that they can't get in on, where a subscription service allows people to come in. So if you want to check out what I'm doing this year, there's a ton of really high quality information, as well as community forums, live calls, and all that kind of stuff within the Serious Dog Business community that I've launched. There'll be links in the show notes, or you can jump onto the school platform and search Serious Dog Business. You'll find me there.
Let's just remind people that if they do want to support our show, they can head over to Patreon. We always do a wrap up at the end of the show, but Patreon keeps the lights on. If you want to support us, this is the only financial way that the Canine Paradigm gets a cash influx. Our government takes half of it, being in Australia. That's what they like to do. Nonetheless, we have exceedingly appreciated your support. People like Buffhead, the Sugar Mama, massive shout out to them because they were huge supporters of the show. And also, as I've said in my one-man band show that I did just before this, George Kittredge, loving memory of you as well. Thanks for your patronage as well.
All right, let's do it. Welcome back to the Canine Paradigm. I'm your host, Pat Stewart, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Glenn Cook. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Here we are again on the third rock from the sun.
It's been a while. It has been weeks since we've had the time to sit down and record, hey?
Not without all the regular complaints from all the regular people telling me and reminding me that there's no podcast down the tube. So I'm fully aware of that, folks. Unfortunately, you and I have had a calendar of events that have been really monopolizing our time. It's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to work first. I mean, this is the hobby. This is not the jobby. This is the hobby.
Yeah, for sure. What did we do? We had our trial, so that kind of got in the way of, we were busy in the lead up to that. And then at the trial, there was a minor incident. And so we'll circle back to that and explain how that created a lot more work for me. I was busy sort of dealing with all of that. And then we just went to Perth and had a boys trip away that also revolved around PSA. But mate, I got to tell you, and I'm happy to tell listeners, like, we don't get to really hang out that often anymore, you know? Like, a big part of why the podcast exists is because it's just us bullshitting with each other.
That's exactly right.
And we used to get to hang out every week and bullshit with each other and do it. And now, you know, with you away, well, moving, And, we don't cross paths physically that often anymore. And so we do this on the Zoom most of the time. And so aside from the PSA Club in Perth did an incredible job hosting us. I felt like it was one of the best organized events I've been to.
It was amazing.
Alicia did an incredible job. Yeah. And like I said, when we got back, everyone asked how it went. Obviously, Alicia did a great job and she's a put together person, but I was like, I can't overstate how enjoyable it is to work with someone who has been formally taught how to plan. She's a cop, right? So like, and when people have been formally taught planning in the same similar way to that I have been taught planning, when you work with those people, you're like, oh, amazing. Like this is all laid out. This is all organized. As the people here delivering it, we're just following the bouncing ball. Everything was in place. She did an incredible job. And I'm really excited about the future for PSA in Western Australia. I think that these guys have got it dialed in and they're going to be really successful. I'm super excited for them. But that was cool. But hanging out for a weekend was really cool as well, right? Like we were away from home. Like I think that's one of the things of dog sport that we kind of leave out a little bit. We don't talk about that much. It's a thing like, everybody's like, oh, I'm doing the thing with my dog and I'm putting my training to the test. But often, you've got to travel. You got to go to these events. And, as the crew that you travel with, there's like, usually when we go to, say, Queensland for a trial, my club try and stay together as much as we possibly can, as much as like that's feasible that we all stay in the same Airbnb or we have to break into like 2 groups of Airbnb or whatever. But it's fun. It's that social time. It's that like, okay, we're away from our family. I'm really strict about the time I spend with my family. I try really hard not to steal time from them. And that's one of the things, as a self-employed person, often people will say to me like, oh, can't you squeeze it in? I'm like, listen, I can, but that time has to come from somewhere, right? And like, I have to take that time from my kids because I've got like my work schedule is full. If I've got no time to give you from my work schedule, and if I have to give you somewhere, that either comes from my sleeping time or my time with my kids. Like that's the only place that's left. And so when I'm away, I go full retard. I'm like, I'm fully with the people that I'm with. I'm away from my kids. I can't be with them. So I'm fully in it. And I had these huge plans, mate. I don't know. You did a much better job of it than me. Like I was going to have my stories going. I was going to film heaps of stuff. I was going to make a little wrap up video and post that and didn't do any of that shit. I just enjoyed the people I was with and had a wonderful time. So I was having too good a in real life fun to actually tell people I was having such a good time. So I'm doing it now.
I've tried to emphasize before how important that is, and I was very fortunate to have gotten involved in my youthful dog training in that manner where there wasn't phones or cameras pointing at you or you had the pressure that you had to be a performing circus clown all the time. You could just be with people and you could have conversations with them and, like both are good because sometimes you get to share stories with people who miss out on the events. But I feel that, and I've emphasized this plenty of times before, that there's been way too much social pressure on people to take stories and compete with other people all the time. And if you don't do it, then you're in question. Oh, do you even train dogs at all? Can you train dogs? Rah, 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 rah. You do. You just get all these wombats and pelicans giving you all this feedback and it's just nonsense. To be honest, mate, I was happy for you that I saw you enjoying yourself and getting amongst the crowd, having some social time with people. And as you said, they were a wonderful group of people. There wasn't one person in that crowd or in the event or in the organisation of it that I thought, oh, this person's just not all that. Like they're an actual pain in the neck to be around. There was nothing like that. They were all supportive, all organised, all friendly, all wanted to know about what we were doing, what was going on in PSA, how to improve their own game, how to get involved in dog sports. Special mention to John too, who was our host when we were there, for picking us up, providing the Airbnb for us, driving us around, taking us out for dinner. He was an exceptional host and a really nice guy and now a friend to boot as well. Thank you, John. If you listen to this, you really made our stay up there very pleasurable, as did you all. From Alicia hosting the event at her workspace, which is West Coast Dog Training and PSA. Beautiful little facility she's got there. It's got a really good vibe to it. The dogs all taking a dump in the toilet. That was the highlight for me. I went in there and laughed and laughed and laughed. I thought, I only went in there to do a wee. And I thought, I've been in here so long, everybody at the seminar was going to think I was taking a dump in there. I was that long, but I was enjoying all the photos on the wall.
Explain it better because you didn't actually say it. So she has, you go ahead.
As you go into her toilet, which I must say, for a dog trainer's toilet in a dog training facility is exceptionally clean and hygienic. Well done.
It was excellent.
As I've said before, my absolute pet hatred is filthy toilets. I would rather shit my pants than go to a toilet that is a filthy toilet. That's just me. I can't stand it. It was impeccably clean. And when I went in there, I was thinking, it is pristine in here. Like, this is wonderful. This is how a toilet in a workshop or a workplace should be. And here is me going on my hygienic thing. And then I noticed all these pictures on the wall and I thought, oh, what are these? There was about, I'd have to say 20 or more pictures, all beautifully framed on the wall in the wash bay area of everything that were all pictures of different dogs taking poos. It was the most unique and funniest thing I think I've ever seen. And I filmed it and put it on my stories on Instagram, and people all over the world were sending me messages, I'm stealing this, I'm doing this. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was crazy. Yeah. And well done, Alicia. That is a very clever and unique idea. Somebody even said to me, oh, you should make a calendar of dogs doing poos and call it PSA's greatest shits or something like that. So,
I had a calendar of dogs doing poos. Jason sent me one.
Yeah, Jason Furman sent it. Yeah, he did. That's true. Jason sent one to me for Christmas once.
Yeah. No, it was great. They did an incredible job. And I feel like we should circle back. I know you've got a topic and something you want to talk about.
Yeah, we should talk about the Iron Fist trial because I think there was a lot of highlights there as well.
Yeah, we had a great time. We had our annual trial. We do it sort of, around the same time every year. That's late June. And it was perfect. Everything, the trial was amazing. Everybody did really well. Loads of people passed at the trial. Australia's now got quite a lot of people in the twos now. We had a couple of people get a leg of their two. And the cool thing was they got the leg of that two under Ben, which means we're still available to trial under you in the future. For those who don't know, in PSA, once you're in the twos, you have to pass twice to actually get the title. And each time you pass, it's meant to be under a separate judge, right? One of the challenges we face with only Glenn in Australia as a judge is that the people who have a leg of their two under him are waiting on an international judge. And so it was cool. Ben judged for us on the Sunday and a couple of people passed, including Kristen from our club who, we've spoken about her dog a couple of times in the past, like really challenging dog that she does an incredible job working with. Honestly, for her to get a leg of the two, like if you don't know the dog and know her and what we've been through, you cannot grasp how incredible that is. Like I
agree.
That if you don't know, the struggles that she's had with that peculiar little dog, and she's done an incredible job. So that was amazing. We're really happy about that. But the bummer of the trial, and so we've talked about it a little bit publicly, not in a great lot of detail, but Jazz tore her ACL. So that on the Sunday doing the carjacking, she was a decoy and no big thing happened. It just kind of went. The video is very uneventful. It's a bit of a letdown, like when Dom got injured, at least you get blasted by a dog. You know what I mean? At least you end up with an incredible video where
you've got a big story to tell. I got blasted by a dog and blew my leg out.
People can watch the video and go, whoa, holy shit. Yeah, okay, fucking hell. No wonder you're injured, right? But unfortunately with Jazz, it was just a bad twist and that was the end.
I was there. I was standing right there behind Ben while he was judging because I was doing the shadow judging on the weekend and I saw the whole thing. I didn't even know that she'd hurt herself. It looked so non-eventful. And until Ben went over and grabbed her, like he grabbed her and said, oh, hang on, I've got to support Jazz. And I said, what's going on? He goes, she's hurt her knee. Because I was looking at the paperwork and watching the dog. I wasn't watching Jazz. And then I could see that she'd gone limp in the leg and, Ben got the dog, helped her get the dog out, supported her back to the chair. And then you came and whisked her away in your car and got her sorted out.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so we got her off the field and things continued, but
it happened Jazz was taken off the field within 5 minutes and the trial went on and like everything went on without a hitch, including Jazz getting looked after and sorted out and iced her leg and bandaged up and everything. Like it was great. You couldn't have, even for an event where somebody got injured, you couldn't have asked for a better setup for like a bunch of people just to fly in and get everything sorted and done. And by the time I walked off the field and saw Jazz, she was smiling and, going, oh, what a pain in the ass having this happen.
Yeah.
Which was great of Jazz because she had very good spirits even after she hurt herself and problematic futures from an injury like that.
Yeah. The challenge then comes, Jazz has 3 9-month-old Malinois. So we had to solve that problem. We've done that just so people are aware. I've taken one. We had 3 of them. The goal with these dogs is always, raise, train, and sell. We're on our 4th round of doing that. I think it's our 4th time doing that. So we've got to figure out what do we do with these 3 dogs because she can no longer handle them in the way that she has. Usually, she does all the handling. I do all the decoying. She does all the lifestyle and everything. She does all the work. I just get bit by them. what do we do? We sort of had, me and her had to sit down and kind of figure out, all right, like how do we reframe our whole lives around this? And we've come up with a really incredible plan that I'm bummed that the catalyst for this had to be Jazz being really badly injured and set back. And it's going to take her, she's got a long road to recovery that she'll do an amazing job at.
Indeed.
But it's that, the commitment to that. It's that working through that surgery and all that bullshit that she has to go through. But we came up with a pretty good plan. And as I say, I'm bummed that it took a bit of a disaster to put this into motion, but I actually think it's going to be really cool in that one of the dogs that we had, he was a bit slower maturing. So Katrina, who bred him for us, has very graciously agreed to take him back for a little while and just let him grow up at her place. And that'll give Jazz time to recover. So she'll have surgery and get back to functioning. And then we'll revisit that dog in, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 months or something like that. We'll have a look and see how he's maturing and see how she's feeling and whether she take him back. And then one of the other ones I've taken, I've renamed him and he's going to be my dog. I'm going to keep him and we'll see what our future involves. He's a lot of dog. As I'm getting to know him, I've had him for a couple of weeks now. I'm really excited about a future for us together. The weird thing is, like, I've told a lot of people this and I want to be clear and say, like, I'm a happy person. My life is wonderful. I have a great life. I love it. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. Certainly nothing that, like, it's not depression or anything like that. But I haven't had a dog to train in like 2 years. You know what I mean? I retired Remy 2 years ago. He's an old man. Valerie's 12. She's completely deaf. Like my dogs, and you see this happen to dog trainers and I've seen it happen to many other people where you're just kind of in limbo, where I train heaps of dogs. I've got my hands on other people's dogs all the time. I get called out to go to places. I travel around. I'm training plenty of dogs, but I haven't got a dog that I'm responsible for. I forgot how much I love that. And I'm so reinvigorated for dog training. The cool thing is as well, Jazz raises these dogs on a really strict, she has a very dialed in system of progress and it's individually tailored to every dog, but her markers, her commands, her luring positions, everything is very precise. And it's very Jazz, right? It's very dialed in. And I just stand around usually talking to people while she does all that hard work. And then I get bit by these dogs and that's our relationship. And so now I've got to learn all that shit, right? So like that's one of the things I'm loving as well as I'm a student again. Like her specific luring system, because I don't have that. Like I have to work with all other people's dogs, right? So I just have to work with what I've got and I can put in whatever is there. So I haven't got like my own very well thought out and structured way of this is how I hold my hand when I want this from a dog. And I've shown the dog, like she's got all that and it's dialed in. The dog knows it or, is most of the way knowing it. So I have to learn that stuff now. And these dogs are pretty extreme. They're from the one I've got, I've renamed him. His name's Sundance. Sundance is a lot of dog. He's a lot extreme in his possession. And she's done this incredible job of managing that. And so now I'm sort of doing that. There's a lot of getting to know each other, a lot of exchanging things, like, because I don't ever want to get into conflict with this dog. And also he's 9 months old. So it's not like I can have the difficult conversations that you can have with a puppy when I can't have that with a 9-month-old dog, right? I'm really excited. I'm invigorated. And I forgot how, I don't know what it is. It's a switch inside of us. I guess it's what makes us crazy dog people is my dogs live in the house. They come and go as they please, right? My dogs are super safe. All the neighbors know them. They just do whatever they want to do. They come with me when I offer that they can, but the rest of the time they just putt around the house or the building, really. I forgot how invigorating it is that you have a dog who's like, hey man, I'm locked in this box. And if you don't let me out, I'm going to shit in here. Like I have no choices. You've taken those away from me. And like we're guiding this dog towards success and just having a dog that I'm responsible for, that I have to think about all the time and that I have to plan for. And I have to like have a training plan because I haven't had a personal training plan in years, like literally. Right. And so I'm so excited by that and invigorated that I'm training this dog. And not only am I training the dog, but I am a student in learning the dog because Jazz knows the dog very, very well. And she has put him in a system that now I have to learn her system to be able to continue his training. So to me, this is like something of a dream come true. So as much as I hate that she had to go through that to put all this in motion, I'm really excited. And then the other cool thing about it all, I know, sorry, I'm taking up all the airwaves. Jazz's job is to sell those dogs. And so we're not selling them anymore. I've brought her into my school, the Serious Dog Business School. So it's now the Pat and Jazz Serious Dog Business School. So she's come on board with me to help me do that, because in a, whatever capacity she can as she recovers from her injury, she can be in there as an instructor. All her content that she was making, is now going to go into that. The puppy course is in there. She's going to do calls and all kinds of stuff. So it's really exciting. It's given us this new opportunity to work together. One of the tricky parts that me and Jazz have always had in our relationship is that we train together, but, we make money separately aside from the sale of the dogs. And so we might film something with training a dog, and then it's sort of like, okay, but who owns that content? Who's going to use that? Right. We have to, and we're great friends. I love her. We would never stepped on each other's toes in that regard. I think both of us don't put out anywhere near as much as we could because we're being careful of each other. And so now we don't have to worry about that. We're just selling the one product. It's the one school. We can both, we can share all the content again, and it's all going to push people to the one place. Neither of us are trying to be famous. We're trying to show people, hey, this is what we can do. It's not building an audience. It's generating customers. So I'm happy to show as much of that. And with this new dog now, I'm training, I'm filming everything, I'm putting it in, I'm showing people. We even did a session, any sessions where I train and then Jazz basically poo-poos me and sort of watches over and reviews and is like, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. And that's great. I fucking love that. I love the feedback. I love the opportunity to train that way. I'm very happy to be coached in front of people. That doesn't worry me at all. So people in the school get to see me getting the handover from her while learning that same kind of stuff themselves. So I'm super excited about it. Like I said, it sucks that the way that this has come about, but the fact that it has is, I think, a really cool opportunity that I'm not going to waste. So yeah, that's it from me.
How can that be a bad thing? I think it's a great thing. I think it was an inevitability that the two of you should have explored a long time ago.
Yeah.
If I was in your shoes, I would have had the conversation with Jazz a long time ago. I don't know why you didn't, but I don't get involved in other people's personal lives or business lives. I agree with you, mate. When cheddar gets in the way of people's creativity, cheddar is money, obviously, but when that big cheddar gets in the way, sometimes people go, oh, I can't do this because they're doing that. And if I do this, it'll upset them, and then it steps on their toes. Or other people just go, fuck it, I'm taking everything. I'll do everything and I'll drown this motherfucker in my wake. Because they're just like that. They're Daffy Duck and you're Bugs Bunny, and that's the way the story goes. They're more interested in taking everything and leaving little for everybody else. You and I have talked about this before. There's people like that just go, fuck you, man. My ambition is bigger than anything that you and I have got, and I'll step all over you, where other people are very considerate. And I consider you one of those people who doesn't try to fuck people over, doesn't try and step on people, likes to include people in what's going on, helps other people. And for me, mate, that's important. In this community, in order for it to survive, we need to see the less of the team of me and the team of we taking precedence, because there's a lot more me's out there than there is we's. But when the we's get involved in things, big things happen, transitions happen. Club sports take off, people contribute, people collaborate, people do great things together. And that was evident what we saw in WA. We saw a lot of people getting on, doing great things. And not everybody gets on all the time. Being in WA, obviously I had a great time with you. You and I got a little tipsy. We talked about all the conspiracy theories into the night, and,
we solved all the world's problems.
All of them. Every fucking one of them. If you had a bingo card and a tick list, you would have won bingo 3 times over, I reckon. There's another side to that, mate, because I love Scott Parsons, who's a big part of your club. He's a great guy. The more time I get to spend with him, the more I like him. He's just a very likable person, and he's helpful. He's courteous. He's everything that I like in a person. He's just not a jerk off that gets under your skin. He's a nice person to be around. And to spend an entire 4 days sitting alongside each other on a 5-hour trip, spending time with each other, staying in the same place as each other, no one got under my nerves. I didn't go away thinking, and come home to Narelle say, it was terrible. Those guys just get under my nerves. They've got no respect or anything like that. Completely opposite. When I walked in the door, I said, I had a great time. It was a really nice trip. I always enjoy time with Pat. Loved spending time with Scott. Even meeting some of the other people in PSA as well. I've never really got to know Tyler McDonald at all, but he's been very helpful and supportive in his decoying lately, and he's doing a great job. I got to know him a little bit better over the weekend without some of the roadblocks in the way, and that was great. He seems like he's getting his shit together in his own world with him and Bonnie. And Bonnie used to work for us when she was a little kid, so it was always nice to see her and just spend time with some good people who are doing good shit in the world. So, mate, it was all thumbs up for me. I had a great time. this is me, really saying that I'm very happy for you and Jazz that out of this chaos, something wonderful has transpired from it, because I think it's a good thing, not only for you, for Jazz, but it's also a great thing for the dog community too, because now they can get into your school and you've got two great heads that it's not like Jazz is just a shill of you or vice versa. You both got your own thoughts and feelings about things. Like you have a similar trajectory, but Jazz is also no shrinking violet. If she thinks differently to you, she will say it. She will vocalize it. And I like that about the relationship that you guys have. It's not just this is little Pat just doing little Pat things. Jazz is her own person. She's intelligent. She's a deep thinking person. And Jazz can be very jovial about things sometimes. And she's one of the deepest thinking people I know when it gets involved in dog training. She takes it seriously. Yeah. She thinks long and hard about outcomes. She plans. She's a very organised person. When you were talking about Alicia in WA being organised, so is Jazz. Jazz organises everything down to the 9th degree. She has everything squared away. And that's her personality. That's the things that she likes to do. It's a big plus, mate. Great news for everybody involved in that. And I wish both of you all the very, very best.
Thank you, sir. One thing I'll say, just because it sort of triggered on it, I've been saying for a long time, like at actually handling and training a dog, Jazz is a way better trainer than me. Like she is fucking incredible at the actual handling and training of a dog, because she's on the tools doing that. Like, in the last 5 years, she's raised 10 dogs.
And so two to three at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Like, and the extreme dogs, not like little pets that are funzos. You know what I mean? Like they're all in serious working roles at the time. So her hands-on capability, it far exceeds mine. Like way ahead of mine, which is why like now I'm like, oh shit, talk about pressure. Like I've got a dog that she started and I've got to keep up the good work. But as I say, what we're offering in the school, and not to just plug it, but it's like what I think the two of us can provide really well is an on-ramp to becoming a serious dog person. And that's why I initially called it Serious Dog Business, is like the whole point is it's that level up. It's people who find, say, like our podcast, and they're like, oh, like I'm into this. I think I'm becoming a real dog person. It's not that you need to have some amazing sport dog or anything like that. It's that, I've decided to kick this up a notch. And maybe that's a professional that's like, I'm going beyond my mentor and looking somewhere else. Or, it's a person who has their fun dog that they're now like, no, I'm serious into dogs. Like I really want to get into this training and understand it. What I've put together, and now with her content in there, really creates this incredible glide path to having people become a real dog person, speak the right way, like use the right terminology, understand what people mean when they say this kind of stuff, like be a real dog person that like other professionals can have a conversation with. And I found myself just this morning sort of discussing with someone. They're like, oh, like, is there a tutorial on healing? Because I've been asking a lot of healing questions. I'm like, no way. Like what it is it's going to teach you. When you have the conversation with who will teach you healing, you will be able to converse with them at a level that you couldn't even imagine now. And you will get so much more from every piece of instruction that they give you, because you'll actually understand the underlying structure of all of training, allowing you to then like excel at whatever specific thing you do. So that's the goal with it. I won't keep carrying on about it, but that's what we're up to. And if you're interested, check it out. There'll be links in the show notes, but it's the Serious Dog Business community on school.
I'm thinking out loud at the moment. It's only something that I've just started scribbling on paper with over the last couple of weeks. Scott and I were sitting together the other day when we were in WA, and I was sort of chatting about it in the fact that I'm at some stage, I may be looking at offering some people around the hunter the opportunity to learn how to decoy, mainly for selfish reasons, so I can get my dog worked more frequently. I will probably look at reaching out into that in the future about teaching some willing and able bodies if they want to, as long as they're good people and they're not involved in any scandals or shitty behavior. But if they are genuine, curious dog people that want to get involved in taking some hits from dogs and maybe even get their own dog trained at the same time, I might open up an opportunity for that to happen because I need it. At some stage, I want to get back involved in it. I've sort of taken a little bit of a back step for a while, but like you know, at some stage, I'm going to re-entering competition again.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's time. I've sort of taken a bit, quite a long hiatus from it. I'd love to throw my hat back in the ring and get back on the field and start training and competing and being amongst it again, not just judging.
It excites me very much. I'm excited about that. I'm all jittery. It's so cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
We should talk about that offline because I need to train some decoys as well. So, like, we should come up with a thing. maybe do like a couple of organized days or something.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the criteria is quite high. I don't want any people who just want to waste time and dick around and, get pissed and talk shit. I want people who want to learn the nuances of dog training and actually become skilled dog people themselves. If they aren't already, there might be people around who say, hey, I've done this in the past. I'm interested in throwing my hat back in the ring myself. I don't know who's up here and who wants to do it, but I'm going to start looking and I'm going to start making that things happen. It could be a wonderful thing. Who knows? The future could be bright in that area. You and I were talking in amongst all the reasons that we didn't get this episode out a while ago. And one of those reasons was I had Red Team again. I was working with Andrew Coe and Greg Caddy delivering the HME course, which for those who don't know what that means, it's homemade explosives. And it's offered through Andrew Coe's business, which is Red Team. I contract to them. Andrew makes the product, which is a lot of things that can be availably made. And then we work with agencies such as the Defence Force, which is the Army, and police forces, which is generally federal or state police groups. This is something that I often say, I hope our government gives our agencies as much opportunities as they can to work in these areas because it's very important. It's one of those aspects of national security that when I see the capability and the competency of our men and women who are handling these dogs, it's great. And I just want to make sure that from my point of view, that the Australian government gets behind them more and doesn't throw millions and billions of wasted dollars on other shitty projects, that they actually support our men and women on the front line with a lot more of these things. National security is something that I think will be evidently clearer that we need to make sure it's very sharp in the coming years with all the problems that our own government is creating, emulating things that they're doing in the UK and so forth. It's crazy times. But we just need to make sure that these services are provided and people get to sharpen up and upskill in what they're actually doing. I will say though, mate, the people that I saw there are great. And we're not their trainers. We're not their people who do the training with them long term. They've got their own trainers. We're simply there to add support to that and offer some advice and some help in what they're going to do, which they appreciate. The feedback's good. I love talking to them about what they're doing and what they're thinking. If we ever see any problems arise, all we do is offer suggestions. I don't get involved in trying to hijack what they're already doing. The SOA guys, some of their handling is next level. Their off-lead capability with their dogs and the control they're doing is terrific. And I've seen that evident before, like there's been a lot of them where they can send their dogs off and direct them from afar. It's really beautiful to watch. Where the federal police are more involved in airport security, SOA are actually deploying with their dogs and taking them off country to other lands and doing work out there if there's any sort of engagement going on. So yeah, it's nice to watch. It was absolutely fantastic. Appreciate all you guys, as I've said. Can't say enough nice things about you.
On that, mate, like that is worth pointing out as people who have worked around the world with various agencies or whatever, the Australian Army explosive detection capability is incredible. Like that's one of the few, their training is incredible. They've got a long course. They really learn how to train a dog, not just handle one. They're very, very, very good. I'm fortunate enough to get to work with them multiple times a year. And every time I do, I'm like, oh, fuck, you guys are really good. I can help them with dog training stuff, but there's no way I could teach them about detection. I'm like, you guys know this shit better than me. Like I can help you with the general dog part of it, but you guys are so fucking good at this. And that to me is like, that's good news. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, I like that they're good at that.
The SOA guys are next level. Their capability is very good. I think Ziggy and Simon are in charge of their training and they're doing a bang up job of doing it as well. Like you look at them and think, yeah, that's you guys are really on this. You control with your dogs. Like they can take their dogs into any scenario that Greg and I were working on. Greg was a SOA operator himself. He was deployed. He's been to Afghanistan a bunch of times. He's walked that beaten path. I haven't. I'm civilian. I make that very clear to everybody. I've never offered any stolen valor to anybody that I talk to. I make that abundantly clear. I'm a civilian guy. I'm a civilian dog trainer. I'm good at my job. I can help people. I can advise them, but I haven't been deployed externally and done it. I've done ED work with dogs on docks and stadiums. I did that for a long period around the east coast of Australia, and I travelled around Australia with bands and so forth, doing stadium clearances and so forth. So I've had boots on the ground. I haven't been shot at. I haven't had to worry about being blown up on a daily basis like some of these guys are, like you were, Pat. That didn't happen to me. I've worked security for a bunch of years. Like I said, I haven't had people shooting at me on a daily basis. I haven't had like a car convoy blowing up and the pressures of all that shit going on. I make no bones about all that shit. That's specialty stuff. That's stuff that I have not been involved in. That's a pressure I've not had to endure. I've had my own pressures, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've still had people shooting at me and trying to stab me and doing all sorts of giddy shit like that, but it didn't happen every day. Like, it's not like every day you're going out anticipating that somebody's going to try and kill you or somebody's going to blow you up. That didn't happen. Again, to get back to my point, I'm there on an advisory capacity to offer support, to help the people along with the HME side of stuff, to get the ball rolling, to introduce the odors to them. It was exceptionally wonderful to watch them progressing from not really understanding an odor to, by the end of the week, finding all the odors in all of the locations, with Greg and I increasing the difficulty and placing it in, underground, above ground, in things, in buildings, all sorts of things. And the dogs loved it, which is the hindsight of everything. The dogs should always love it. The dogs should always think this is the best fucking game that I could ever play with you. It is the best thing that we can do together. And the handlers really have an understanding of that. They understand that this is, for the dog, this is a wonderful game. It's an important game. It's a game they've got to play. But the dogs don't know that. They think that this is the best day of my fucking life. Every day I get out of the back of that car, what's going to unfold for me is an amazing opportunity. I've said it in the past that I call it the illusion of control. Whatever you want to call it, I call it that because it really is the illusion of control. It's you getting the dog to do something beneficial to you and having the dog think it's the best day of its life. If you don't do that, you're not a good dog trainer. You're not doing things well if you haven't convinced a student or a dog or a employee to do that. You don't get it. You're not good in leadership. You're not good in training people or dogs if you don't understand how to do that yourself. The lead off from this is it got me thinking of this show that I've been watching over a couple of years. It's on Disney Channel and it's called The Bear. And I talked to you and Scott about it while I was away, but I didn't really reveal anything because you haven't seen it. And spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the show, I'm going to talk about some of the spoilers of the show. So if you want to watch the show, you may think, I don't know if I want to listen to you talk about this because it's going to have a couple of reveals about the show. But nonetheless, if you haven't seen it, it's really worth investing the time into because it's such a fucking Greek tragedy of a show. But at the same token, it's amazing. It's brilliant. It made me feel all these incredible big feelings all the time. Every episode I watched, from being incredibly annoyed and not knowing if I wanted to watch it anymore to sitting on the edge of my seat going, holy shit, like with my heart racing about what they're doing in the restaurant and what they're doing next. The synopsis of the show focuses around a family called the Bazzotti family. They're in Chicago. They've shortened their name, or like everybody does, they create nicknames for themselves. They've shortened their name to the Bears, hence the name The Bear. The show focuses mainly around a young guy called Carmen, and it's his family. Incredibly dysfunctional, this entire family are. He's got an older brother. His name is Michael. He's called Kami. His older brother's called Mikey, and they've got this cousin / best friend of Michael's called Richard, aka Richie. They're sort of the main characters of the show. It's a real rich tapestry of dysfunction, but nonetheless, it goes to show you how having terrible upbringing and this central figure of a mother in the family who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and she does a fucking cracker job of the character she plays. And I think her name is Donna or Mama Dee or something that they call her. In series 2, there's an episode called Fishes where you see the whole family get together at Christmas time and she cooks this dish called 7 Fishes. She's really in this fucking hurt locker of pain and I would have to say probably bipolar or some sort of dysfunctional mental illness going on. But the turmoil and the shit that she puts her family through, in particular their sister, which her nickname is Sugar. And the reason she gets this nickname Sugar is because she asks her to put salt into a dish and she puts sugar in there. So she torments her and calls her Sugar to remind her of this fuck up that she made. And it so happens that that's now her nickname that's stuck. The episode itself, oh man, I guess because I kind of grew up in it a little bit myself and I had something to parallel to it. It was fucking haunting, man. I have watched it several times to try and get my head around it because it is watching a family imploding and destroying each other. But the same token, and this is fast forwarding through the show because there's some other things that happen which I'm going to circle back to. Carmen, who is one of the main characters, is a brilliant chef who's worked at some of the best restaurants in the world. He has taken over this burden of a restaurant that his brother Mikey, took over, which was called the Original Beef. It belonged to their father. Their father seemed to have disappeared out of the picture at some stage. He was a drop-kick dad who'd put himself into massive debt, then fucked off and left the family holding the bag. Henceforth, it created the problem with the mother. It created problems with the kids. And Michael, who is this real central character again, he's very likable by everybody. He's sort of taken on the role of the protector, the father, trying to take care of Carmen, but he's fucked up. He's got addiction. He's got all these mental problems going on. Early in the piece, he commits suicide. He can't handle the pressure anymore. And he's played by, forgive me, I should know his name. He's the same actor that plays the Punisher. He's that Italian-looking guy.
Barenthal?
I think that's him.
Yeah.
Brilliant actor. He's been in The Walking Dead. He's been in The Punisher. He's a brilliant actor. I love him. He's terrific. Anything he puts his hand to, he's very charismatic how he plays it. But he plays this character very well. He's got to take over the burden of this restaurant. He's got to try and make it his. He's got to try and live up to his father's legacy. And it's a shit show under him as well. He's ended up borrowing money off his uncle, who's played by an actor called Oliver Platt. He's a terrific actor himself. So it's got some big name people in it. And his uncle he appears to be some connected Chicago sort of person. He's got some money behind him. He's got some connections. He's invested in the family, but he's fucked him over on this deal and lost a whole bunch of money. The point I want to get to in these episodes is very much like the show Whiplash. When you watch the show Whiplash, when you're watching this character trying to be this incredible drummer. The teacher in Whiplash is a guy, the actor's name is J.K. Simmons, but he pushes this young prodigy into almost collapsing. Like the fucking shit that he does to him is insane. And it's an incredible movie. If you haven't seen it, put it on your movie list. It's tormenting, it's horrendous, but it's also brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's excellent.
It's one of those movies who had me on the edge of my seat as well. And episodes of The Bear were very much reflective of what this is, in that when I watch people, including people in careers and in people in PSA or just in general, who are trying to achieve greatness, the fucking shit that they have to go through to get there, it's a path that not many people want to walk. It's a path that most people abandon very, very, very early in the journey. They can't seem to think, I want my life to endure this. And there's only a select amount of people who stay on that path and they think, no, this is the journey. Now, some people mistakenly do it. They fumble their way through it and they get there with not much preparation and a lot of luck. And some people get there with careful and strategic planning, and they get there with a team of people who have helped bolstered them up. And whatever way they got there, it's incredible when you watch people reach the success path or the dizzying heights of a point where a lot of people it's like climbing a mountain. You know, there's a lot of times where people have climbed mountain, there's a lot of dead bodies along the way. And there's a lot of people who halfway up, they turned around and went back because they just thought the journey and the risk is not worth it. Where other people have thought, yes, it is. I want to get to the top. I want to be the guy or the girl on top of this mountain who puts a flag in there and says, I did it. It's a demon I've got to chase no matter what it is. The point of this is Carmen, the other character, the younger brother in The Bear. In these episodes, he shows his time working in this incredible restaurant, and his mentor is very reflective of J.K. Simmons and Whiplash. He's tormenting him all the time. He's telling him his shit. He's telling him he's no good. He's riding his back. And you can see him just steely glazed, just doing these dishes to perfection. Like this is the best restaurant in the fucking world. And there's a time where he catches up with this chef at another chef that he worked with, Chef Terry, at the closing of her restaurant when she's doing her final dish preparation. And he walks out to the restroom and they bump shoulders together with his old mentor chef. And he exposes to him the torment that he went through and how he can't stop thinking about him and the maniacal shit that he did to him. He said a line, I think about you every day. The chef turns around and he goes, really? I don't think about you at all. And he said, all this whining that you're giving me. And he said, you were an adequate chef at best when I first met you. And he said, now you're one of the best chefs in the world. That's a fucking traumatic line. I had to pick my jaw up off the ground when I was watching that episode. But that's what people have to do when they're trying to reach a level of greatness, sometimes they have to endure things that no mortal person would think is reasonable or fair or kind or lovey or amazing. It's not always that way. I'm not making it out that every path is like that. But I'm sure if people have listened back about times in the selection criteria that you went through to join Commandos, Pat, and all of the training that you had to go to, you've often told stories about how people were not very kind to you and treated you like shit. And there were days where you were deprived. There were days where you had to go through sleep deprivation, terrible things that people don't want to do and don't want to think about. They're happier knowing you did it or your colleagues did it rather than them having to go through it. And that's why in a lot of BJJ schools, there's a lot of blue belts. There's not many black belts because the thought of all those injuries and all that time and all that investment that you have to put into it is actually quite unthinkable to a lot of people because you're thinking, yeah, it means that travel, preparation, time away from the house, having to deal with a sprained wrist or an elbow that hurts or some inconvenience. But that episode itself, it was a really confronting episode. But the episode that I wanted to talk about and kind of that I wanted to wrap it up on with talking about this was the next episode after the one called Fishes. The one after that is called Forks. Richie, who is Michael's best friend, he's really dealing with the loss of Michael. He's blowing out of control over it. And he gets sent to this incredible 5-star restaurant, one that Carmen has worked at before with Chef Terry. When he gets there, he has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He has to battle through traffic to get there. He's very put out that he's there. He gets there and people basically say to him, polish forks. He's sitting there, he's polishing forks. You can see that he has this disdain for where he is. He's not happy about it. He doesn't like where he is. He's fucked up over this whole process that he has been put into this position of being punished. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand why he's there. He feels that this is beneath him. It's a punishment that Carmen made him come along and do this. But as the episode progresses and as he starts to integrate with the staff there, he starts to realize that he hasn't been punished. He's been sent there to learn how to be in service of other people, how to look after people, how to read people, because Carmen sees this potential in him that Richie is not just a guy that's fucked up or a fuck up or a loser. He's somebody who actually reads people well. He's got big feelings about things. He's very capable of doing something very well, and he's a people person. And he learns that in this restaurant. He learns what an incredible people person he actually is and what he has to offer. He learns about timing. And he sees this placard on the wall under a clock, and it says, "Every second counts." It is a reminder to everybody in the restaurant that every second in the restaurant counts, like getting the food on right, getting the service right, making people's wishes and dreams come true. Like your timing it needs to be impeccable. You need to make sure that you're not just thinking about you and all of the things that are going on in your life. You need to think about how you work with other people, how you are in service to other people, and how you function around other people. Finally, he talks with Chef Terry that she's doing a preparation, and he kind of says to her, like, why are you doing that? Why don't you get somebody else to do that? She goes, I like this. It's important. Like when I peel the mushrooms this way, it makes people look at the mushrooms and go, oh, that's really special. It's kind of grounding for me. And she tells him about her father when they moved around all over the place. He made a lot of diary notes that she didn't really know much about her father, but she read the diary. He made all these special points about all the wonderful places that he's been and all the things that he saw along his life and all these experiences that he had. And she doesn't finish the point that she's going to make because she gets called away. He calls after and he says, what was it? The last thing that your dad said? What was that really important piece? And she's already gone. And he walks back and he looks up on the wall and he looks up at the sign which says every second counts. And I just fucking had this epiphany about how incredibly important it is to us as trainers to know when we're doing our training well. And when you want to become magnificent at what you're doing, all of these things count, like walking that road of hardships, dealing with difficult people, all of these things that many of us complain about and many of us walk away from the industry, or many of us find that we just can't do it anymore and it affects us on such a great level. sometimes I think this is the gauntlet we must walk in order to get to the other side of it, to understand the lessons of some of these things. And I feel that many times when I'm watching people, and I was watching people every single day that I was doing the HME course, and I'm thinking, how lucky am I that I get to watch these incredible men and women who put their safety on the line all the time, because they're working with an element that could vaporize them at any minute.
Yep.
It's a real risk. And how lucky am I that I get to play a little part, just a little role in a tiny chapter of their life, that I got to be there. But I'm also teaching them that same thing. Every second counts. The difference between doing a good indication or a bad indication, the difference between doing an active indication or the right type of indication to work around certain type of explosives. These things can't be taken for granted, and they shouldn't be taken for granted. These are the lessons that you should be learning in life. These are the passions that you should be understanding and seizing them, and understanding that, yes, there are days that are fucking difficult. And the reason I bring this up is because there's been many times that I've wanted to walk away. There's been many people that have ruined my dreams or crushed my spirit or done things like that. But nonetheless, turn around and I pick myself back up and put my big boy pants back on and realized, in my own way, I am in service of other people. I do enjoy this. I do enjoy a lot more people in the industry than I don't. There's far more people that I love in the dog training community than I don't. So I've got to be thankful for that and not dwell on the people who aren't wonderful and don't do all these wonderful things, because there's something wrong with them. There's not something wrong with me, and I shouldn't dwell on that fact. And I'm saying this to you because I talk to many of you in the industry and we have conversations like this. You too will have these days where you're just thinking, what am I here for? Why am I letting these people pull me down and suck me down into these levels? Unfortunately, that's just a part of the journey. There is a part of the journey. It's part of the test. I don't know why it's part of the test sometimes, but it is. It's like watching a knife being forged, and the difference between going through extreme hots and being quenched at such temperatures. It's the way the metal is forged that will ultimately harden it, give it the temper it actually needs to be an incredible blade with a fine edge. And if that's what you want to make of yourself, that's the path that you have to walk. It's lonely sometimes. Sometimes it's frightening. Sometimes it's just perilous, but other times it's fucking rewarding and the view is beautiful. There's times where you'll look over and you think, how lucky am I to have gotten past all that shit and to look where I am today. Yesterday was my birthday. I had people all over the world wishing me a happy birthday. I'm just a man in Australia, and I've got friends that I've made in Thailand and Vietnam and United States and the UK and Malaysia. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, I used the word rich tapestry before, and I do have a rich tapestry of good people in my industry. I do have people that I look forward to hearing from them and seeing their stories and watching what they're doing. And I feel that this show, The Bear, reminded me a lot of that. A lot of things where I get confused or angry about things, or there's days where I feel like I'm just going to put my tools down. This is the last day that I want to be involved in it. But that's not true. That's just me, and it's many people that I know who have had same experiences, and you've done it before, Pat, too. There's many times where you feel like this is it. This is the last day, the finish. I can't fucking stand it. The reality is there are better people that make the days worth it. If I do a look around that hypothetical room of people and remember the faces in it of all those smiling faces looking back at me and all the support that I've made, you're the people who really made this industry incredible, not just for me, but for all the new people coming through it as well, for all the people that you'll mentor and teach, and all the dogs that will benefit under your incredible leadership and your skills and your patience, and remembering things like every second counts as well. Like, that's an important message, I think, for everybody. If you haven't watched the show, make it part of your list. There'll be some of it that you'll consider is annoying, because there's times where they just yell at each other constantly through the show, but it's part of the synopsis of how the show comes together and the powerful message that it's trying to deliver to you, in that this path is hard and people fucking crack and life gets very, very difficult for you sometimes, but you can improve yourself. You can find peace at the end of it or midway through it or wherever that journey takes you, but nonetheless, it's worth it. That's my little talk about The Bear. Watch the show.
I like it. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. I hope I did it justice. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some people might go, yeah, I didn't enjoy it. It was a show I just didn't understand. But it might not be something that you're akin to or have any relationship with.
I think a big part of what makes people happy is finding the heaviest burden you can carry and then carrying it, you know? And that often seems like a thing that you should shy away from. And I think a lot of people are encouraged away. And I think we talk about burnout a lot. We talk about people overdoing it. Like, I think that's a different thing when you overdo it with a bunch of bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
And people tend to burn out because they invite in a lot of fucking like silliness. Seldom do you burn out when you're actually in the true service of others. And by others, you know, like your family, your friends, your community. There's also that sort of difficulty of that overbearing mentor and teacher that tortures you, you know, like, cause I've had a couple like that in my time, and sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're just dickheads. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you, like, that's a hard line to distinguish. Sometimes, you know, you have that incredible mentor that puts a bunch of pressure on and creates a diamond. Then there's people that are just looking to break you, and distinguishing that and being able to tell which one that is, and not giving up so early when you go, oh, this person's just being a dickhead. And they go, yeah, well, you didn't have the grit to go through it. Being able to identify what is a bit of a pressure test and what just is someone being unfair or unkind, I think is one of the really important elements of becoming good at anything, being able to stick through stuff like that. But yeah, I'll have to check out the show.
A point that you mentioned before, which I feel is very relevant, is not all mentors are crafted the same. Like, some really do want the best for you, and they will push you. You know, they know how to push you. They know to push buttons for you that you don't really want pushed, but you need them pushed anyway. And there are other people who just are happy to push you over a cliff. They're in a position that they shouldn't have been in. They're not a good teacher. In many cases, they're cowards. They're terrible people. I think having the fortitude to understand the difference between those two types of people is a skill in its own as well, because sometimes you don't know until you're very late in the game. But nonetheless, I think when you find out either way, if you've got a great mentor, a great teacher, somebody who pushed you, somebody who ultimately cared for you, appreciate them. And maybe let them know. It might not be right then and there. There might be some professional resents that are going on because you're going through some hard yards. You told a story to me about that when we were in WA, and I've heard you tell that story before about somebody that you wanted them to know it was important that they played a role in your career and your development, in your personal and professional development. And I've had people the same. And one, I missed the opportunity to let them know, because when I went back to talk to them, they'd passed. I missed that opportunity and I kicked myself for it. You know, like, there's times where I really think that in the moment, well, you have to find the right moment for you, I guess. I just found that I was disappointed in myself that I let the moment go by and I never got to tell the person how incredibly wonderful and special they were, and that, you know, there was one thing that I did that disappointed them and I wanted them to know how sorry I was. It was a shitty thing to do. It was one of those things that I felt I needed to clear the air with. And I've spoken with many people over years who have shared similar types of stories. I've encouraged them. I've said, go tell the person. Don't let it be their funeral that you're reading a eulogy for about what a wonderful person they are. It's too late. Many people do that. They're sharing flowers and chocolates at somebody's funeral, and they say all these beautiful, wonderful, tremendous things about them that they really did mean, that they never said to them in life, you know, and sometimes they just walk by them and they'll just say hi and bye, and they never get to say, man, I love you. You are special to me. You made my life great. You're a fucking good person. Without you, I don't know where the trajectory would have gone in my life. And I've got to do those with some people. Dawn in particular, I got to sit with Dawn before she passed away and have a really deep and meaningful conversation about what an incredible person that she was, that held me together through some of the fucking strife that I was going through. It's important. Don't waste the time. Make sure you do that, because even with your dogs, I've had a non-anthropomorphic conversation with my dogs where I've sat down in the yard, you know, like I might be eating a sandwich and sitting with my dog, sharing the sandwich with them and telling the dog, I love you so much. And even though none of this makes sense to you, I hope you can feel it, because it's true. It's how I feel about you. You're an incredible character and a very important soul in my life, you know, somebody that I've shared a lot with and not just taken any of it for granted. It's been a wild journey, and I really hope you know. Anyway, that's up to you. Listen to me, don't listen to me, Prestige Worldwide. Before we wrap up, a couple of things did happen. Emma Murdoch, who we met in Canada.
Oh, yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, she got her first leg of PSA 3, which is, again, when you talk about walking that field, she's been working very hard at it. She did great at Nationals in her 2. I think she got first place in Worlds. She won the podium, might have been last year or the year before, and Zoe got second, which was terrific. 2 young ladies from Canada that we met several years ago. And then now finding out that Emma has secured one leg of her PSA 3 with a dog, Riggins, I think his name is. Congratulations, Emma. You know, I reached out to you to congratulate you. I'm really proud for you, and I think you've earned that. You've worked very hard. I watch you on your reels training hard every day. Congratulations to all people who've secured a place there. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of nights that you've got to tell your family and your friends that you won't be at barbecues and you won't be at birthdays or you won't be home till late at night and stuff like that because you're out in fields and you're trudging around in shit weather and hot and colds and you know, and decoys are getting slammed by your dog. So there's a lot of people who all come together to make those big magical moments happen. But nonetheless, I'm not taking away from you, Emma. Congratulations. Well done to you.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I wanted to tell people about what's happening down at ProDog in October as well.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. So Dave Mackelson is bringing out Dr. Stuart Hilliard, which is that's a big deal for us in Australia.
Yeah, yeah. He's big.
That's going to be I can't remember all a 4-day thing and then a 2-day thing for the cops as well. But check that out. That's definitely head to the ProDog Facebook page or Instagram or any of their website anywhere. But yeah, Dr. Stuart Hilliard coming to Australia is a big deal. I very much hope to be there myself. I'm just trying to make some dates work. I'm trying to move
make
some
it
stuff
work.
around. But,
make it work.
Yeah. If you can get to that, you definitely should check out. That's all through ProDog. It's nothing to do with us. I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that because that's a big deal. These days, there's so many different, people like me and others that it's just bro science. I've got nothing to fall back on other than a bunch of dogs trained. You know what I mean? But we're people like us, it's very, for us practitioners and the doers of the thing, that FaceTime that you get with people who have those letters after their name and the wealth of experience and more experience than I can imagine. And also the qualifications to be beyond reproach. They're the people that we need to see. So anyway, check that out. I hope to be there. I hope very much to be there.
I'm going to be there. I think we need to get David on the show anyway. We've threatened to do it many times. I think we should get him on the show sooner rather than later. We can have a chat to him because Dave's a very interesting character in his zoo career and now into his franchise dog business, and he's a lovely bloke as well. So let's make time for Dave. We'll get him on, and then he can also feed us the real information about Dr. Stuart Hilliard coming out, who I agree with you, mate. He is a very important character. He's not just a guy who just talks about sciences. He's also somebody who's been doing it. When I was a boy and I got involved in training, Stuart Hilliard was somebody I was watching on VHS tapes. He had a dog. He had a OG
real deal.
Yeah, he had a Malamar called UFO. So he's already cool. UFO. Oh. Yeah, he's already cool.
Well, here we are. I've just got a new Malinois. I wasn't aware that I could call a dog UFO. That would have been cool as shit. Here I am calling a dog Sundance.
you fucked up.
I didn't know I could call it UFO. Fucking hell.
You just shit the bed. Yep, that's it.
Wait, I went through some names. I tell you, I've got a bit of a reputation. I'm pretty good at naming stuff.
I like that.
I like Sundance.
Yeah. Sundance is original.
Sundance is his full name. I'll probably call him Sonny, but Sundance is his.
Yeah, you can sing the Boney M song to him. Anyway, last thing I say before I wrap up. Working with Greg Caddy, he's up in Yamba, up in far north New South Wales. He's just brought himself on a young apprentice, a guy called Jordan, and he loves our show. He was ecstatic to find out that Greg was working with me. He's been listening to us for a while. Yeah, apparently Greg said he's doing great. He's picking up some skills. That's cool. Greg's a really good dog man himself. He's been training and selling working Kelpies for explosive detection. And a few of his dogs are involved in defense and law enforcement. So, well done, Jordan. I hope that you have a great and expansive career. Watch the bear, mate. Yeah, that'll fucking shake the socks. I hope it's rewarding for you, mate. You've got a good mentor. Greg's a great guy. He's a terrific friend, somebody who's quite skilled and doesn't do a big song and dance about it. He's a good human being. So, nice. You've got a good one to begin with. That's it.
All right. That's it for another episode of Canine Paradigm. As always, if you like what you hear, like, rate, share, subscribe. Do that through whatever subscription service you download us from, and then go to another one and do it there. Nobody checks. You're allowed to do that. If you want to support the show, the best way to do that is to jump into Patreon. A few bucks a month gets you a giant backlog of information as well as some new stuff going forward. But jumping into the Patreon really is supporting us. That's what keeps the show going, keeps the lights on, pays our bills, and makes sure that we keep trying to prioritize this in our lives.
Yeah.
Another way to support us is to jump into Teespring. You can get some cool merch. There's links in the show notes to that. And if you want to get in contact with us, one of the best ways to do that is to just jump into the Facebook discussion group. There's always It's one of the last bastions of no bullshit on Dog Book. So jump into there and you can group with. That's where when we're looking for things to talk about, when we want to group source information, it's where I post on Facebook when I've got a question for the community. So you can jump into there. But if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can shoot us an email. You're at info@thecanineparadigm.com. Love you all. Goodbye.
Oh, not that one again.
The wrong button
bloody
again.
hell. Here we go.
There's dust in this office.
People don't know that.
Let me say something after.
Okay.
If you made it past the outro, you simply must get on YouTube, especially if you're not an Australian and you don't know who this dude is. But there was like a somewhat controversial conservative morning breakfast host, this guy, Alan Jones, who shock jock. Yeah. And he was a football coach, and there's been some interesting allegations of old Alan lately. But his staff put out this thing many years ago, it must be 20 years ago, called The Christmas Tapes, where it was outtakes of him. And there's parts in it where he's my favorite part, and me and Glenn reference it to each other all the time, is he coughs and then he goes, "Oh, there's fucking dust in this office." And then my favorite part, and my old boss in the army, we used to listen to it all the time. There's this part where you can hear him typing and then he goes, "Oh, this fucking typing is insufferable." We used to say that to each other all the time. If you were writing a report, you just look at him and go, "Oh, this fucking typing is insufferable."
The funny part about it is I often have to clear my throat all the time. I don't know. Every time I go to talk in the mic, I end up going, Pat will often in the background going, "Oh, there's dust in his office."
All right, we're really leaving. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.